I got laid off like everybody else at the start of COVID, and I needed something to bring in a little bit of extra money. Hey, I got a great idea for a business for you. You should start a dog poop scooping business. And I'm like, are are you out of your mind? Who's gonna pay me to scoop dog crap, man? That's nutty. Crap. I don't have anybody to scoop yards. What are we gonna do tomorrow?
That's
Because
such a business
Wednesdays at
owner
that point
thought.
we're still, yeah, that's all I'm thinking about. I'm thinking,
Yeah.
how am I going to take care of my customers?
Yeah.
How am I going to take care of this? What am I going to do?
Welcome back to the Built Local podcast. Today we have Derek from Poop Patrol calling in out of Wisconsin. Derek, how you doing today?
I am fantastic. You?
I'm doing great. We're really excited to have you on. I always like to open the floor up to our guests. For anybody who doesn't know you or anything about your business, go ahead and give them your elevator pitch.
Well, as you guys have already seen, my name is Derek. I'm from Evansville, Wisconsin. Originally from Madison, Wisconsin, the capital. But we've been in Evansville now for about 26 years. I started this business in April of 2020 as a side hustle. I got laid off like everybody else at the start of COVID, and I needed something to bring in a little bit of extra money during that time. And a friend of mine has a junk hauling business that he had started just a little bit before mine, and he gave me a little bit of work to do for him. And then one day we were taking a drive down to Kentucky to deliver a boat that he sold.
Hmm.
And he says to me, this is like 6:30 in the morning, and the sun is just kind of creeping up over the horizon. And he says, "Hey, I got a great idea for a business for you. You should start a dog poop scooping business." And I'm like, "Are you, are
You
you out of your
crazy.
mind? Who's gonna pay me to scoop dog crap, man? That's nutty. Craziest thing I'd ever heard of." And he says, "No, it's a business, and if you don't start it, I'm going to start it, and then I'm going to hire you to run it." And I went, "Okay, here we go, game on." And so as I'm sitting in the passenger seat while he's driving, I go onto my phone, I kind of cruise around and look to see about start a little bit, figure it out about what the business entails, and if there was anybody in the area that did what he was suggesting. And in our area, there was nothing. Now, there was a lot like in Florida, and a lot in Arizona and Southern California and warm weather climates and whatever. But nothing in our area. So like,
Yeah.
okay, so maybe we got opportunity here. We'll see. It was just at the end of winter thaw, so it was like right towards the tail end of March, and it was still cold out. And we got back home, and I started doing a little bit of digging. And then I put a post out in our local community page, in the Evansville community page, saying, "Hey, if somebody were to do a business like this and offer dog waste removal for spring cleanups, would there be anybody interested?" And pow, it was mind blowing. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know anything about it. I mean,
Yeah.
uh, but I didn't know anything about operating a business or anything like that. But we just started, and we got probably, I think we cleaned spring cleanups. I think we did 40 yards right off the
Wow.
bat,
Wow.
and then all of a sudden people started sharing it from Evansville into other pages.
Yeah.
And then I got business in Janesville, and I got some business in Madison, and I got business in Oregon, and I got other surrounding communities. And I think we did a total of about 65 spring cleanups our first season. Um, and then people started asking whether we did it weekly or not.
Yeah.
And that didn't even register to me at that point.
Yeah.
I'm just taking cash for doing spring cleanups, and raking in cash.
Yeah.
And there we went, and we started doing it weekly. In fact, I was just going through some paperwork, and I found my list of my first 18 weekly clients.
Wow.
Um, and we started, like I said, so we started basically with 18 weekly clients, and now we are sitting just about 180.
That's incredible. That is incredible. What a beautiful story and a way to start the business. I think a lot of people's stories are like they put the word out and then it's crickets, but
Yeah.
there's sometimes when it's just like you feel like I bet you felt like you struck oil. You're like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing."
Yeah, it was nuts, man. I didn't even. I mean, I had it was. I just didn't even. It didn't even register ever that it would be as big as it got as quickly as it did.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, and you started at pretty much the perfect time, April up where you're at. That's spring rush. Everybody wants to get their yard cleaned up when that snow melts. So what a kind of series of fortunate events, not unfortunate events.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
that's that's awesome. So you said you had like kind of no experience running a business or anything. What was your background in before you got laid off before COVID?
I did 26 years in the automotive service industry. I
Okay.
was basically I sold cars for a few years, for about 3 years, but otherwise the majority of it was as a service writer, service consultant. I was the guy that you like to hate that got to tell you it was going to cost you $1,000 to get your oil changed, put your brakes on, and turn your check engine light off.
Real quick, if you're a local business owner and you want to start getting customers from Google, you know how important Google reviews are. Every week, I talk to business owners just like you across hundreds of industries who know reviews matter, but never seem to have the time or the system in place to actually get them. That's exactly why I've spent the last 2 years building Review Harvest. We built it with a non-tech savvy business owner in mind so anybody can set it up in minutes and start getting reviews today. It automates the process of getting real reviews from your customers, responding to those reviews, and repurposing them across your website and across your social media platforms. It's a set it and forget it software. You can get it all set up in about 10 minutes and you never have to worry about reviews again. We can integrate into the tools you're already using so you don't have to change a thing. You don't have to train your team on how to request reviews. You don't have to request them manually. You get customers, we get your reviews. It's simple as that. And the first play in our playbook is what we call a review reactivation. You probably have hundreds or thousands of previous customers who loved your service but never left your review. So a lot of times our users can double or even triple their reviews just in the first couple months of working with us when we do that review reactivation. Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. Makes sense. And it's such an interesting thing. There's so many people getting into pet waste removal, obviously, and we can talk about the growth of the industry without without having previous business experience, right? Like just getting it as a side hustle and boom, next thing you know, you've got a legit business and you got to figure out how to, do payroll and taxes and hire people and all that sort of stuff. And so what was that process like, taking this business from, hey, this is a side hustle that I'm just going to do in April and March to, oh, people want me to pay me monthly for this. What was that transition like to turning it into like a legit business that it is today?
Well, I mean, the first for so 2020, um, we did, like I said, all the spring cleanups that we did, and then the 18 weekly clients. I still needed another, more income to help supplement. So I was working, doing some stuff for my buddy DJ for his business. He had a couple of things for me to do, so I kind of helped out with those things. And then in the fall of 2020, we still had, like, again, still 15, 18 clients. Um, and I started cleaning beer lines just to kind of help fill in the
Yeah.
blanks.
Yeah.
And actually, in December of the first year of 20, we decided we were going to stop. We are going to postpone or suspend service for the winter.
Hmm.
And they were all everybody was okay with that. And then
Yep.
there was only, like I said, 15, 18 clients at that point. They're like, yeah, whatever, just come back in the spring and do it
Yeah.
then. And then as I sat there and I started getting into some of the other poop scooping groups, there was only a couple of them at that point in time.
Yeah.
And the one is pretty much non-existent anymore. And I can't say the name because I've been sworn to secrecy, but there was only probably about 200 of us total in that group at that point in time. And
Yeah.
Jim, King Jim, King of Pooh,
Yep.
he had said, it's poop. Dogs poop all winter long. You got to clean in the winter time too.
Yeah.
Kind of light bulb moment for me, and I went, yeah, that's true. So we started going back again just a month later in January, and just did our weekly clients. And then all of a sudden, it's like as I'm reading about this and whatever, and studying and delving more into it, realizing that we can make a business out of it. Then we decided to put the hammer down and do some more advertising for spring cleanups because spring was going to be around the corner again. I think we did 100 spring cleanups our second year, our second
Wow.
season, and I
Wow.
needed help. And so I had my wife and kids come on, and they helped out. My buddy DJ helped out, and then we went from 18 to I think 36, uh, and then 20. So that was 21, 22. We jumped, and it was still me. Obviously, I didn't need any employees or anything.
Mhm.
Fast forward to beginning of 2025, January of 25, we were sitting about 90 clients. So, no, I think about 75.
Okay.
And I'm like, we were busy enough on certain days where I'm like, I could really use some help. I'm thinking about hiring, but I don't know if I'm really ready to hire yet. And I
Yeah.
wasn't certainly ready to, have anybody full time, maybe 5 to 10 hours a week,
Yeah.
just something to help take the edge off.
Yeah.
And that was in January, and I knew that we were going to get busy for the spring again. February of 2020, I was out for my night walk, and it was about 8:30 at night. I had just parked my truck, and I go for a walk every night, and I had hit the crosswalk button at the intersection down the road from us. The light turned walk. I started crossing the street, and the next thing you know, I got hit by a car.
Oh.
I'm okay. I'm fully recovered. I didn't break anything. I didn't hit my head. I didn't no serious like life altering changes or anything like that. Tore my MCL. Bunch of significant bruises and
Yeah.
deep thigh bruises and bone bruises and things that took a while to recover from. And I was on the way. We were on the way up. I was in the back of the ambulance, and on the way, she didn't stop. The kid didn't stop. She went home and called 911 from there, or had mom call 911 from
Uh,
there. Um, but as I kind of bear crawled myself off to the side of the road, first I called my wife, then I called 911. They said, "Yeah, we know there's help on the way. Just hang with us." On my way up in the ambulance, I all of a sudden I went, "Crap! I don't have anybody to scoop yards. What are we going to do tomorrow?"
that's
Because
such a
Wednesdays
business
at
owner
that point
thought.
we're still, yeah, that's all I'm thinking about. I'm thinking, how am I going to take care of my customers,
Yeah.
because they've already paid for the month. and it's just me. And
Yeah.
I'm like, how am I going to take care of this? What am I going to do?
Oh.
And so that was a Tuesday night. Uh, we got home early Wednesday morning. I didn't have to spend the night in the hospital or anything like that. Thankfully, nothing major. Just again, we didn't even know that I tore anything at that point. We just knew
Yeah.
that I didn't have didn't have any head injuries or anything
Yeah.
like that. And um, everything turned out. On Wednesday morning, I sent out a message to everybody and said, "Hey, I'm not going to be out today. Give me a couple of days to figure things out, and we'll get things situated, and we'll have somebody take care of it." I think, if I remember right, we didn't scoop Wednesday or Thursday, but by Friday, I was having my first interview with potential helper. One of my friends who owns a power washing business, he says, "Hey, you can have Aaron until April
Yeah.
when we start power washing again." I said, "Okay." So I got talked to Aaron, talked to him. He worked. He was okay. But I had my first people helping out, all 1099 employees.
Yeah.
Had some family help out. My son-in-law, he helped out. My buddy DJ did a few yards. A couple other friends helped out. And then by the following week, I think I had two actual hires, as it were, to get going, and they were with me for about a year, and then we just kept growing and kept doing what we had to do. We grew from, like I said, about 75 or so to maybe 110
Okay.
in that year. I was recovered enough by July to start working again.
Mm,
So we didn't have enough work for three people. So one guy left for the summer,
yeah.
uh, and then it was just myself and another and Will, my other guy, and then we bumped up again from 110 to 100 and where we are right now this spring. And Will wasn't getting enough hours, so he left. And then I ended up with these two guys that I got now that are fantastic. And we
Wow.
just put them on payroll for the first time. Their first paychecks come, actual paychecks come tomorrow,
Yeah. That's awesome.
which is
That's
that was a kind of a surreal experience, making
yeah.
sure everything was in order and paychecks and
Yeah.
and and
Payroll
and all
taxes.
the paperwork involved with that, and that gave me a little anxiety, but we got through it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, man, first off, I am so glad that you're okay. That is a crazy story, but I think that that's such a realistic way to describe being a business owner. It's like you just got hit by a car. You're sitting in the back of an ambulance. One of your first thoughts is, "What's going to happen to all my customers?" You know.
Right.
I mean, that's just classic like business owner. People think about being a business owner like when you just tell your friends at a dinner party, "Oh yeah, I own a business." They're like, "Oh wow, that's so amazing, so impressive, all this stuff." And you're like, like, "Oh, drinking Mai Tais on the beach and just enjoying yourself." And you're like, "Nope, it's sitting in the
No.
back of an ambulance thinking about your customers." That is what it actually entails.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow. Well, that's an incredible story. And you've grown a lot over the last 2 years. So what's been one of the leading kind of drivers of that growth and getting to 180 recurring customers?
Well, the vast majority of it is just been, you know, consistent posting on Facebook and
Mhm.
being, fairly consistent with my social media stuff,
Mhm.
referrals. But then this last season, beginning of spring season, we finally had this thing called revenue. And so we, because we were actually starting to make money rather than just enough to pay bills, we had some leftover.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, we're going to start investing back into the company again and actual do paid ads,
Yeah.
etc. So we started doing some paid ads, and that's where we kind of went from there.
Awesome. Awesome. Really impressive. Yeah, I think that once you get to that spot where you have money to start reinvesting in the business, that's kind of where you start to get a little dangerous, because you're like, oh, okay, we got some money that we can play with. We got kind of our bills paid, and we can start to reinvest and grow this business. And so when you're running ads, I know you've worked with services to run ads for you and stuff like that, but what type of ads are you running, and how are you like turning these leads into paying customers? What's y'all's process like?
Lead comes in, and I try to respond within at least 30 minutes. I usually wait it. If I usually wait for at least 10 minutes, just so it doesn't look like I'm some sort of pop
Automated.
up kind of. The automated responses, I hate automated responses, and I
Mhm,
hate AI responses. I think they're cheesy,
mhm.
and they even sound the way they come across. They sound artificial,
Yeah.
So I wait, at least 5 to 10 minutes to respond to people, um, but no more than about 30.
Mhm.
And then my response is, "Hey, this is Derek from Poo Patrol. Thank you for reaching out." And my opening question usually is something to the effect of, um, is some verbiage of, "Tell us what's your major, not major. I don't use the word major, but what is the most significant uh, issue you have with cleaning dog waste, with picking
Yeah.
it up? Is it time? Is it too much going on? Work, whatever it is,
Yeah.
and that usually elicits a response, and then we can kind of build off of that.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So getting some context as to what pain they're going through or something so that you have a little ammunition to say, okay, well, we can solve that for you. Um,
Correct.
awesome. Awesome. That's really
It's
cool.
more of an issue. It's more of solving a problem than it is trying to. I don't want to come out trying like I'm selling anything right away.
Yeah.
We want to solve a problem.
Gotcha. Yeah, for sure. And so, you've been able to grow pretty substantially over the last couple of years, and I've seen your reviews. Obviously, we'll talk about that here soon, but you have great customer feedback. So, how are you able to grow but still maintain, happy customers?
Doing what you're supposed to do, doing what you promised to do, communicate with customers,
Yeah.
make sure that they know that if there's going to be changes that you're, to the route, changes to billing, changes to whatever, that you're communicating that with them ahead of time if possible.
Yeah.
Just constant. Uh, People love the on the way texts
Yeah.
that they get, so they know you're coming. People love when you let them know you're going to be late, or if service dates have to change for whatever reason. We try to avoid that, but invariably it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Um, they like uh, the CRM because they don't have to think about it, so they don't, the payment is automatic and it's just
Mhm.
taken care of. It's that nobody's hounding them for payment or anything like that. The, they like the locked gate pictures. They like the personable, people that they engage with, myself and
Yeah.
my techs. The technicians, they have to have a personality. They have to be able to occasionally engage with the customer.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So
For sure. No, that's great stuff. Communication is so big, just like not leaving the people in the dark, not leaving your customers in the dark. It's so common in the home services industry for just communication to not be there. I just had somebody show up at my house yesterday to give us a quote on like, fertilizing and turf care and stuff. And I think I filled out their form like a week and a half ago. Hadn't heard anything. Hadn't heard it. Hadn't gotten a text. Hadn't gotten an email. Hadn't
good
gotten anything.
lord.
They just showed up my door. I'm like, and then the guy shows up and like we walk around. He's like, "Yep, $55." I'm like, "Okay, how do I pay you?" He's like, "Oh, I think the office will like email you or something." I was like, "What? What is this?"
I
It's like
I
one of
think
yeah. It's
he's
like you
just
just drove all the way out here to not even close me, not even get a payment on file or anything. You're just gonna say, "Oh yeah, you'll get an email." I'm
wow.
like, "Wow, this is such a missed opportunity for y'all." But it's funny because he could have closed me yesterday. I would have given him my card, and then today I was telling somebody about it, and they're like, "Oh, my company does that," and so now I'm gonna go with them instead of him because he didn't go ahead and capture it. Um,
Yeah.
but it really is just the simple and the basic stuff. But um, before we close out here, what has your experience been like with Review Harvest so far?
Oh man. I mean, I only had like 35 or so reviews when we first started talking, and I was talking. I would always, to the newest customers, I'd say, hey, do us a favor and send us a, if you can, uh, send us a Google review on, go to, what did I say? I'd say go to Google, poopatrolwi.com and on Facebook and leave us a 5-star review. I'd really appreciate it. It helps us grow, et cetera, et cetera. And a lot of people say, yeah, and then they forget about it, or, yeah, I'll do that tonight or whatever, and then they forget. And like I said, I mean, only like 35 or so did. And even if I had my techs even say, send this message to your customers when you're done with the route today, they'd send it and you wouldn't hear anything. And so like when we signed up with Hunter and then obviously with you, Hunter from Rise Marketing,
Mm-hmm.
um, who's been excellent, by the way.
That's
Really happy
awesome.
with him.
That's awesome.
And then we got on board with you guys, and I think we're at somewhere like 115 reviews now. I think
Yeah. Yeah.
114, 115,
Do you remember how many you had when you got started with us? Like 34, 30,
like
right?
34, 35, something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
in the mid 30s.
Yeah. It's been just over a month and you went from about 35 to 114 reviews.
Yeah, it's nutty. And and yeah, they're, I mean, they're all but two of them are 5 stars. There's two, I think there's two 4-star ones in there, and those are just, I imagine those are just people that just never give a 5-star for anything.
Yep.
You'd have to
They're
give
just
them,
stingy.
even if the service was free, they wouldn't give you a 5-star because they just don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. No, but you've been absolutely killing it. The reviews have been blowing up. And I know we also got you set up on a website so far. What do you think about the website?
Good. Yeah, I like it. I don't think we've gotten any traction with it at this point that I know of, but
Mm,
um, I like it. I like how it looks. It's laid out well. I know we made a few revisions, and I was probably more of a pain in the butt on the revisions than, but
you're good.
it's good. I like how it looks. It turned out well.
Awesome. Awesome. Cool, cool. Well, Derek, where's the best place for people to get in touch with you if they're in the area and they're looking for service or if they want to connect with you?
Well, on the main socials, so we're on good lord, Facebook and Instagram.
Hmm.
It's Poop Patrol WI at Facebook or at Instagram. Otherwise, you can get a hold of me via email at Poop Patrol WI at Yahoo is a business email for me.
Perfect. 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 We'll have the website and stuff linked down below in the description. So if you're in the area,
Perfect.
definitely connect with Derek and reach out. But Derek, I appreciate you taking the time to hop on and have a great rest of your day.
All right, you too.
See you in
Thanks.
the next one.